Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream on YouTube. Thanks for being here today. Change of pace again. So welcome to the weekly live stream with the Pleiadian Council. We're going to get started in a moment or two. And let me go ahead and go on to YouTube where we can post the Zoom link. Hi Jennifer, thanks for being here. Seeing you in the chat. And yeah. I'm doing great today. Today's just a beautiful day. Hope you're doing well as well. Okay. Cool. So now when you're in YouTube, you can join in Zoom. And joining in Zoom is a lot better because when you're in Zoom, you can ask the questions aloud, and the questions that are asked aloud are prioritized because we just love to hear your beautiful voice and love to create this space of participation, though we will take this time for some of the questions that are typed in either the Zoom chat box or the YouTube chat box. Generally, we don't get this chance to go through all of them. And also, there's another advantage of coming into the Zoom and speaking aloud that perhaps if your question isn't clear enough, or perhaps to get an even deeper and more thorough explanation, the Pleiadian Council will interact with you and ask you some other questions. And that's just not as easy to do with the chat box. So, yeah, we hope that you come and join us. And before we begin, I would just love to share one thing, which is the website. So DanteStarshine.com is my website. Maybe you see that there in the YouTube box. And here it is. All the information is here. And this is a really cool box where you can join the email list by typing your email in there. And when you join the email list, you get the update of when I am going live consistently at this moment. We're doing Wednesdays at this time, but as things progress and I travel around a bit, that might change. Channeling course is signing up, ignore the date, but the channeling course happens about once a year and takes you into an in-depth study of channeling and personal growth, learning different healing modalities to support you in your process and also to be able to help support others. So, um, mute yourself.
Jacob. Or Elordi.
Can we not do that?
He's a hunk. Australians know how to make them. The freaking Liam brothers. I didn't see it.
Yeah, let's not do that. Thank you. And so here is the page where there's information on channeling sessions, and doing a personal channeling session can bring one a lot deeper into the same things that people can ask in person, but in terms of personal health, well-being, and energy, you can go a lot deeper with a personal session, as well as I have astrology readings, and you can book a session on this page. And also, this is all of the information on how to donate. Donations are encouraged for these live streams that I do every week, these free offerings for the community and that give you the space to ask your questions. There are many ways to donate. Even Stripe payment is possible for those who may not be able to use the other options like PayPal. It defaults to the reading, but you can change the amount and put in even just $5. And that's a great way to support the free sharing of these sessions every week. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. So the common thing for being in this space is to make sure that when you are not speaking, you're muted, because there's background sounds that can get in the way, especially if you know you're in a noisy environment. Make sure to pay extra attention to this. If for any reason you walk away from your phone while it's unmuted, I'm going to have to come out of the channeling state to mute you, and that's going to interrupt the flow for me and for everybody. So let's not do that. And beyond that, I hope you enjoy the session today, and I really appreciate that you're here and part of this beautiful growing community. Oh, and one last thing is, always liking and sharing the video really helps the channel, and it helps on all of the social media platforms that you might engage with my content as well. Right now, I'm doing mini astrological updates daily in the new year to see how that flows. So check out those videos and stay tuned to notice how the energy might be changing and shifting on a daily basis. It's really powerful to use astrology to watch those transits and feel how these energies may be impacting the collective every day. With that said, enjoy this transmission, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hey, sorry, Dante. Do you want us to help you with muting, like a co-host, to help you?
Oh, yeah, maybe that's possible.
Yeah, you can just do co-host, and I'll help you mute.
Yeah.
If we need. Okay, cool.
Hello, and we say a fantastic day to each of you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we thank you for allowing this transmission to take place at this moment of your time. It is a very exciting shift and growth opportunity for you and your world, and we greet you in this moment of your new year. We invite you to understand all of the symbolic change of months and years and so on and so forth as symbols of the ways that the energy might change for the collective and for you as individuals. We've spoken a bit about this, and we want to now share with you our message for this week, which is about the power of consistency. And consistency has a few different ways of being interpreted for this message. The first and most important is to be consistent with what you do each day. You are beings who operate with a circadian rhythm connected with the cycle of the sun, and your body does best when you follow a certain rhythm and routine every day. When you wake up at a similar hour and prepare and take care of your body in a similar way every day, perhaps doing something like exercise or yoga or qigong or anything of this nature, perhaps going for a run, taking a swim, perhaps meditating and allowing yourself to find a tranquil state of mind and heart, you will set yourself up for a clear and powerful day. Many of you are automatically in the loop of consistency with the jobs that you work. And some of you are navigating a path of working for yourselves. And this is very exciting. And sometimes you might find challenge in how to navigate each day. And we would encourage you to have that rhythm, to have that ability to choose to focus on the things that are most important and most exciting for you. When you choose to work for yourself and find your own path, it is going to be most successful when you follow the formula of acting on your passion to the best of your ability without insisting on an outcome. And this excitement sometimes seems to contradict the path of consistency and rhythm, but it doesn't need to. Excitement brings in the factor of spontaneity. And sometimes you might find that you break from a routine to do something that excites and lifts up your heart more. So you have to be very clear in your discernment between what is truly exciting for me and what is a distraction that entices me but doesn't lead to reward. When you live with your awareness centered in your heart, this discernment will be very easy to figure out. Because what is truly exciting for you will lift your heart up and will make you feel energized. It will bring about a sensation of opening and movement forward within your heart. Where something exciting might distract you and might bring you into, or something that is, yes, distracting and that is taking you off your path might feel more heady. It might feel as if you are entrenched by many different thoughts that pull you in directions that make you feel out of alignment with yourself. At first, it feels interesting and your mind is very engaged, yet you end up at a point of confusion. And this is why this heart embodied approach is always going to be much more helpful. Consistency also means being consistent with the words that you speak. It is walking your talk, as is said in your world. And sometimes in your world, you say things but don't follow through. You say that you're going to do things, but you don't do them. And when you do this, it sends out a message to yourself and to others that you cannot be trusted. Someone is disappointed in you when you don't walk your talk. And most often, this is yourself who finds disappointment in your action. And it creates a pattern of perhaps not setting goals, of not moving forward, because you come to realize that you don't really enact the things that you say matter to you. And if you find that this is a pattern for you, what's very important is to set realistic goals, first of all. It's to set goals that you can actually accomplish and not try to run before you start walking. As you allow yourself to set goals that you can actually follow through with, you will find that your capacity to do more and more increases, and that you are able to focus your energy more over time. It is very important that you choose to do things that activate your heart's passion. And it is very important that you consistently find yourself entering into that flow state that takes place when you do what you love. This is increasingly important in these times when there are so many things that distract you, and there are 1,000 ways in any moment that you can find yourself focusing on things that don't really matter in terms of your own personal soul speed. The best way to find those paths and those choices that you can consistently do each day is to imagine a daily routine that makes you feel excited. Nobody enjoys monotony. Well, we can't say nobody because there are certain individuals that do, and maybe you are one. though we will say that more people do not enjoy monotony. And so you can be consistent without being monotonous. Consistency might include that every day you have a break time at a certain hour that incorporates that component of spontaneity that is very crucial for truly living in alignment with your heart. And when you do things that you love, you'll find ways that you can spice up every day, doing things slightly differently and allowing yourself to expand into the moment. A final meaning of consistency is to be true to the facts and true to the reality. It is to be consistent with the truth. Consistency used to refer to the texture of substances. Consistency also refers to the texture of the truth. And to be consistent means that what you say and do is consistent with what is true for you and what is true in general. This is important as well because your world, in this sense, is very inconsistent. Your leaders and your media and your so on and so forth are not consistent with the truth. They say one thing and do another. And to step into that energy of accountability will be very helpful in these times. We can compare your world to our world, and we will say that in our world, we allow ourselves to live in the flow, and we are consistently in that state of passion and excitement. We have some sense of routine as our days go, though we also allow for ourselves to expand in whatever ways we wish. In our world, we are very consistent with the truth. Because we are highly telepathic beings, we are able to detect when anything might not be true and when somebody might be lying. And so it is impossible for these inconsistencies to emerge. However, as we've shared before, we've only got to this point of telepathy through practicing transparency and truthfulness for a prolonged period of time. This idea is that in your world, because you hide so many things from each other, you open up the space for confusion and deception. In order to become a telepathic species, you have to stop hiding from each other, and that means you also have to stop hiding within yourselves and from yourselves. You have to make it comfortable to explore your darker components and shadow sides. And this is only possible with compassion. Compassion is a remedy for any such shame that you might have around your shadow, as shame makes it difficult to explore the shadows that exist within you. Whereas compassion makes it safe for you to open your heart to yourself and open your heart to each other. And this compassion is a crucial component in consistency. Sometimes you as individuals have attempted to shame yourselves into doing better, but this will never work. Consistency can only happen through compassion. And when you understand that giving yourself the gift of consistency is the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself, it will be easy for you to step into this role and into this flow, and it will carry you into a very different reality. This energy is very crucial for your world's evolution because so many of you are inconsistent in a variety of ways. And by tapping into this energy of true consistency, you will find tremendous growth and tremendous congruence between parts that seem as if they don't fit together. You will find that they actually do fit together, both within yourself and within the collective. We thank you very much for allowing us to share this message today, this moment of your time again. And we ask, in which ways can we be of assistance to you with your questions, comments, musings, and inquiries, beginning whenever you'd like. All right, well, not all at once.
Hi, Pleiadians. I have a question for you. Actually, I have two. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, cool. So I would love your feedback or suggestion on any permission slips or tips or strategies of how best we can raise our vibration or our frequency.
How you can best raise your vibration or frequency?
Yes.
Well, as we've said many times, act on your highest passion to the best of your ability without insisting on a particular outcome. This is the only way to raise your frequency. You may be excited about meditating, and this will help you raise your frequency. You might be excited about creating art, and this will help you raise your frequency. You might be excited about getting up and taking a shower, and that will help you raise your frequency. You might be excited about going for a run or a swim, going to the gym. That'll help you raise your frequency. Anything you're excited about doing will help you raise your frequency. And you are very excited in general about collaborating with others. You need to see the mirror reflection of yourself through community and through relationships. So that is also a key way of raising your frequency.
Okay, great, thanks. And the second follow-up question is that I'm very curious to hear your read on. You have suggested that that it's very positive to revisit extremely positive experiences of our past. And I've also heard you and others suggest that imagining great things that could happen into the future is a great way of enhancing our vibration. So if you could talk about the difference between the two, and if there's any suggestions of when to do one or the other, or how to combine them.
This works because everything is here and now. And so when you focus on a past or a future event, you are moving across the lines of time. You are entering into a multidimensional space. And this is why we've said so many times that your imagination is a multidimensional tool, because it allows you to, through the here and now, explore other snapshots of reality that are just as much valid and are just as much components of you. And so, as you focus on the feeling of passion, of excitement, of joy, of love from a past or a future moment, you bring that energy into the present reality around. Your energy shifts and you start to feel lighter, brighter, more open, more optimistic. Your core vibration changes to reflect that energy. And this can help you in attracting to yourself different sorts of experiences, though that attraction will happen through your actions. So, especially as you focus on the past, some of the key things to consider are not just the feeling that you felt in those beautiful and positive moments, but it is what actions and what sorts of experiences led to that emotional expansion. And by looking into all of the variables and the factors that brought you into having that experience, you will be able to consider ways of recreating that moment in, or recreating that same energy frequency in the present. So the key factor in this is also, yes, considering everything that made that experience of that emotion and that frequency possible. And as it comes to the future, then, you may come to consider what are all of the action steps that connect this present moment to that future reality in which you manifested something that brings you such a state of passion and joy. You might play a game in which you mentally imagine reviewing or rewinding rather from that future reality back into the present. What were all of the things that happened? How did that timeline play out? And as you come into the present, then you will consider what are the next steps that help me in moving forward. The other benefit from doing either of these practices is that it reflects to you what is most important for you. By imagining and focusing on these moments that brought you to feel great expansive joy and love, you will come to remember what do you love more than anything else. And that will help you orient and choose what steps to take next.
Oh, that's really cool. One thing that I've done previously, which I'd love your feedback on, is looking at exactly like what were the life lessons that I could extract from having previous amazing experiences. And then, as you said, I went into the future imagining something that I really, really wanted. And then, as you said, look back, and I was thinking, well, how did I utilize these life lessons in order to be here? Is that sort of aligned with what you were saying?
Yes, that's another way to expand what we've shared. It can help you integrate those lessons, can help you make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that you did in the past and that you honor the past and celebrate everything that has been and has led you to this moment so that you can valiantly step forward.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, yes.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for this transmission. And the message, of course, always resonates with me in your opening state shares. I wanted to ask about consistency as far as something I'm working through right now. And I've been writing and journaling, trying to work through some lessons and learnings and reflections of a relationship. And I'm finding myself not sure where now what to do with this information, because I want to learn from this, but I know that sharing this information with this other person is not safe, if that makes sense. Do you have suggestions so that I'm not in a loop, or it's not becoming monotonous that I get caught up, and for me to move on?
Somebody that you are deeply relating with is a safe space for everything. So you may consider that. If you can't share your truth with this person, what are you really sharing with them? Because what's true for you is an essential part of you. Your expression is an extension of you. And to hide is not necessarily allowing for your full self-expression. And the self-expression is just as much a need as is the need to relate. Remember that you don't need to relate in a specific way. You simply need relationship in your life. And the best relationships are those that foster healthy self-expression.
Yes. That makes absolute sense to me. And I think part of me wants to come to closure, and I'm actually struggling with how to do that because this person isn't receptive. And so,
Well, we don't like this concept of closure very much because closure implies an ending, but endings are only the beginnings of different sorts of cycles. So instead of seeking closure, we would encourage all of you to embrace transition. So closure is a word that you use to represent integration. And integration is a much more healthy way of communicating this because it means that you are coming to a place of completion and acceptance within yourself, but you understand that you're moving through a transition and that the relationship may change and that you both may change, though nothing really ends, it simply transforms.
yes, okay. Thank you. That helps me feel lighter and less. I know I'm conditioned to be goal oriented, if that makes sense. And I really appreciate that helping me re-understand that. So thank
And
you
also,
so
in connection with that, that it isn't an end to the relationship that you may seek to find freedom and integration. It might simply be a transformation or a transition. And that transformation is in the definition of the relationship. You and others may be placing a definition on the relationship that adds undue pressure onto both of you and undue expectations onto both of you. So to come back together with more realistic expectations and a more realistic definition of how you are able to relate might help you continue in the next chapter of relating in a different way.
So as a follow-up question to that, is it worthwhile to mirror that and reflect that, or does it make more sense to then just continue and realign myself and see if this other person is going to do the same for himself, if that makes sense?
That might be a better option. What you want to consider is, does this person have the same expectations that you do? Because if they do, then you might need to discuss it more. But if you can sense that they don't have the same expectations and that you're not quite on the same page, all you need to do is release your expectations and step into the relationship in a new way.
Okay. That makes absolute sense. If I may, I have one other side question. It's a different topic. Can you help me understand how to on a physical level, sun damage, skincare, and hopefully reversing or taking care of sun damage to my skin?
Cacao butter is very helpful for this. Have you used that?
I've used a cacao and beeswax product before, but not in depth. I do need to research that. There's not a lot of products that are pure cacao.
Yes, you may find some pure cacao butter if you search, and this can be helpful, as well as a dilution of helichrysum oil to peeled skin.
Okay, I'm sorry, say again, what kind of oil?
Helichrysum.
Helichrysum, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And also to simply make sure that you don't continue to damage your skin. For everyone, we would suggest avoiding the sun in the summer hours or any hours in the tropics between the summer season or any season in tropics, yes, between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. roughly,
Okay.
as this is when the sun is most extreme and causes the most damage.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pleiadians.
Yeah.
My love and appreciation and gratitude.
Our unconditional love and appreciation to you as well. Somebody else has a question at this time?
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, welcome.
I would like to ask how would you relate a discipline in terms of consistency? How much discipline do I need, or how do you define discipline?
What's more powerful than discipline is passion. If you are passionate about doing something, you will want to do it automatically, and you will have motivation to do it automatically. So, discipline is necessary for things that you may not be fully passionate about. For some of you, you still may be working jobs that you don't fully love, and that might require a level of discipline. And this discipline becomes easier to cultivate when you look at the job as a connected link in a chain that leads to your passion. Perhaps you need this source of income to be able to live, and you need to live in order to live your passion. And in this sense, living each day, imagining your passion and prioritizing your passion and keeping in the back of your mind at all times the things that you are passionate about, and knowing that your prosperity and your abundance are required for you to do those things, you can feel more enthusiastic naturally and even feel excited about doing these things. Though this is why we've said it's also helpful to envision a progression of your life that leads to doing things that you're passionate about as your source of income, as then you will be naturally motivated to be able to feel that energy of excitement. And that excitement will lead you to take actions. Discipline is connected as well with not choosing to do things that are distracting. Even you can see at a neurological level that distracting things can mess with your internal mental balance. Many distracting things and addicting things flood your brain with dopamine in a way that you don't feel as satisfied with doing the more challenging and long-term projects. And so Discipline is helpful then in restricting and restraining yourself from doing things that are simply mindless pleasure that doesn't lead to bigger, expansive growth and satisfaction. And this discernment between what is truly exciting and what is really distraction will help you. When you reach points in your life in which you feel the peak experiences of bliss and joy and wonder that result from continuously and consistently following your passion, you will be able to have a much more powerful point of reference that makes it seem natural and easy to choose what you're passionate about rather than distractions. And so, again, we wouldn't say that discipline is as important as discernment. It does take some discipline, but discipline alone can't get you there. Discipline comes naturally with passion and discernment.
Thank you very much. That was very spot on for me because I many times fight with the distractions.
Yes. And you can see how the more you give in to these distractions, the more difficult it becomes to choose the things that really matter for you.
So the remedy is to still remind myself my greater passion or greater image.
Yeah. And we would suggest to you and to some to consider this idea of a dopamine detox, to allocate a period of time from 2 days to a week, perhaps 3 days being not the most extreme, but still an effective amount of time to choose to restrict yourself from all things that produce this excess amount of dopamine, like very sugary foods and entertainment of all sorts, and simply focus on simple things. By giving yourself this break from being overly saturated with distracting pleasures, you will find that when you allow these things back in, you will be able to continue with more restraint and you will derive more satisfaction from those things that do take a little bit more effort.
Mm-hmm. In my case, it's mostly by my most distraction is by reading news or some even interesting articles on the web, but not that much related to my passion.
Yes. So perhaps for you it would be eliminating all screen time for 2 or 3 days beyond what is absolutely necessary for work or something, or even doing it on a weekend when you don't have to work, so that you can absolutely cut out the screen for a couple of days to reset and start anew.
Yes, and this is also connected with the fears of this being disconnected, not knowing what's going on, and so on.
Well, what would have happened to you if you didn't know any of the things the news told you in the past month or two? You probably would have been a lot more calm. That's all.
Okay, that's true. Okay, thank you very much.
Our thanks to you, yes. And of course, we're not saying don't pay attention to what's going on in the world, but it is also important to make sure that you don't overconsume negative information. We don't want to say always be positive about everything. The best attitude is one of neutrality, where you can hold both the positive and the negative. But there are so many of you who only consume negative information and don't pursue positive paths of growth. And this is not helpful.
I have a question, if any, but there's other people in the room who have not had a chance to ask questions. So,
All right. Well, perhaps give them a chance, and if they don't speak up, then you may ask your question.
okay.
All right, then yes, proceed, I would say.
Thank you, Pleiadians. Someone I know has been told they are a crystal child. And can you help me understand what that is and what that means in this context?
There are different sorts of soul themes, soul groups rather, that come in with similar themes and similar structures. There are different waves of incarnation of these groups.
Mhm.
Some of these groups include indigos, crystals, and rainbow sorts of beings.
Mm.
These different groups have different natural proclivities and different soul connections to other realms.
Mm.
The crystal group is very much connected with the idea of bridging your world to other interdimensional planes. Crystals are aware more often of their connections to other incarnations and will also have a deeper inclination towards connecting with the earth.
Mm. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Yes.
Hello, I have a question.
Yes, welcome.
Hi, thank you. So my question is on meditating, and I've been wanting to meditate more to speak to my guides mainly, but I've been trying to get over this fear that I've been having of not wanting to encounter any negative beings, not really being confident in what to do if I do. And I was wondering if what you would think about that.
Well, remember that there is a universal law that spirit guides and non-physical beings can only interact with your physical realm with consent. And this means that all of these interactions that have taken place, either positive or negative, have taken place with consent. Now, sometimes you give consent on an unconscious level, and you do this at a soul level for the purpose of your soul's expansion. There is positive growth that is possible through certain interactions that you would not necessarily enjoy or prefer. These interactions can teach you many things about yourselves and about the other realms. Now, when you are consciously engaging in interacting with these other beings, you may understand that if you meet a being that you don't wish to connect with, you can simply request or even command that they leave, that they disconnect from you, that they go away at once. And they have to listen to you. This is because it is a universal law, and also it is because you have a physical body and they do not, and therefore you have more power over your physical vessel than they could ever have. And if you ever feel uncertain about a being, understand as well that they have to tell the truth, but they can conceal the truth in discreet ways. You can always ask these guides, are you of source and are you of the light? They will have to answer yes. And those beings that are truly of source and of the light will say a simple yes. Those who are not will attempt to confuse you. Any answer other than yes must be discarded, and you must disconnect from these beings. The other question is to ask, are you of service to others? And again, the answer must be yes. If they say they are in service to anything else, you can understand that they are not a fully positively aligned being, and you must disconnect from them. And again, they must honor your free will choice to disconnect and cast them out.
Okay, yes, thank you. I'll keep that in mind when I try to meditate.
And remember, there are many forms of meditation, and some of them have different results than others. So, in order to connect with guides, the best sorts of meditations are those that bring about a state of visualization and imagination by actively engaging your mind and allowing you to focus on things and images and sounds, for example, in imaginal realms. They strengthen your connection to the spirit realm. Whereas other forms of meditation will bring you more focused onto different planes of existence and inner planes of your inner being.
Yes, definitely. I understand. Thank you.
Thanks to you as well.
Could I ask another question?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one has to do with emotions. Mainly anger and sadness when it comes to children. How when a child is having a tantrum or something and trying to connect with compassion or understanding, I tend to feel either annoyed or stressed, maybe a bit overwhelmed. And my intention there is to help, but I think maybe I don't really know what to do. I feel like my past traumas with myself and not connecting with my own anger and sadness have to do with that. But what do you think?
Yes. You feel stressed because you haven't fully processed and integrated your own experiences of anger and sadness as a child. Because your caregivers could not hold space for these emotions in an appropriate way. They were never fully integrated in your being because you were told to get rid of these emotions, yet you know that that is not the right approach. It leaves you feeling a bit confused. And so, the most important thing to remember in the moment is that it is okay for children and for anyone to feel exactly what they're feeling. Anger is an expression of a need for boundaries. And sometimes children will not be able to get what they want, and they might then start to feel sad. And this sadness comes as an experience of loss, and it is simply a part of the human experience for them to endure. You can feel compassion, you can feel care. We don't sense that you're doing anything wrong, but you're simply stressed out. And that's all right. To be able to hold space without feeling stressed, it will be helpful to do inner child work, to review some of these past experiences in which your emotions were not held space for, and release these feelings of sadness, anger, frustration, and disappointment from your past so that you will be able to greet these emotions in a more open way.
Yes, I have been thinking about doing some inner child work. So I definitely will now. Thank you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. All right, are there any other questions, or perhaps we could consult the questions from the chats?
I can read through the Zoom chat questions. Okay. It says, I think it's Aetherx healing flashlight, the power of concentrated source center vibration that emits from the light, have a dramatic effect on the right wrist ligament injury and right plantar fascia?
This healing device can have an effect, yes. Though what will be very efficient as well is the therapeutic movement of the body, including body work and as well qigong, to be able to move and maneuver your own fascia will be very helpful. You may also want to seek out myofascial massage.
Thank you, Pleiadians. There's no more questions in the Zoom, but there are a few questions in the YouTube.
All right.
Okay. First question is, when I feel tired during the day and take a nap, is there a way to avoid sleeping too long?
Set an alarm.
Okay.
Sometimes certain individuals will have the ability to set an internal alarm, though this is not generally possible when you're very tired. Though you can play with it. You can as you sleep and set an actual alarm, also set an internal alarm. If you are going to wake up in 8 hours, imagine yourself waking up in 8 hours. And if you're going to sleep for 10 or 15 minutes, imagine yourself waking up for 15 minutes and set that intention. You might find you wake up just before the alarm. And eventually you might find that you don't need the alarm. But if you absolutely cannot sleep for longer than an amount of time, yes, set an alarm.
Okay, thank you, Pleiadian. One more question from the same person. I have a bloody alien red grid mark from some pattern under my right chin. Why did this happen and what changes will it bring for me?
There is some sort of a past life bleed through from a an act of violence that transpired to bring about this effect into the present life. So you may want to do a past life regression to get in touch with what this violence was. The mark is connected with feeling unable to express yourself. So you may want to seek out ways of sharing your voice with the world. All right, well, we thank you for sharing these questions. Any other questions from anybody at this time?
Yes, I would like to ask one more question.
All right.
Regarding distractions, it is interesting that when I have some free time, when I can relax, I usually go for many different distractions. So I wonder how to get efficiently out of the loop of this relaxing distraction, I would call it.
Can you imagine some other things that you might do to relax that are exciting for you?
Yes, there's many choices. You can select, but usually I go for I'm choosing the one that give me the most pleasure in shortest time. So
So we would encourage that you plan and visualize ahead of time these moments that you're about to take a break. And instead, set the intention and follow through with that intention to do something differently. It can be as simple as meditating. And meditating and other forms of working with your body and your mind are very supportive in genuinely being more relaxed as a being. Because when your overall vibration is one of greater relaxation and greater calmness, then you won't need to seek out pleasure as a means of distraction and relaxation. You will be naturally more relaxed.
so so rather than eat some sweet food or some heavy food, it would be better to relax and meditate and relax different ways.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, if you need to eat, then eat. But what you eat is important, remember? So why do you gravitate towards the sweets? It's good to question that. Perhaps you want to seek out a different form of sweet. Instead of having candy or something of that nature, maybe you have a piece of fruit. There are many foods that are heavy that are not toxic. And so it is okay to eat them. But make sure that you're actually hungry before you eat and that you don't just eat to fill a void.
Usually sweets makes me feel that I will gain energy quickly. So
Yes, and they will, but again, at what cost?
yes. Yes, I've
Like
gone.
looking for an apple or some berries or something of this nature can be more helpful.
Yes, and maybe lay down for 5 minutes also can help much
Yes.
better. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks to you as well. All right then. Will that be all for today?
Maybe if there is a time, I would be interesting to hear about your society. How do you spend your days? If you
We have a
if you can
variety of
share a bit.
different ways of our days. It depends on what our soul theme is at a given moment, as our soul themes can change throughout the course of our lives. Sometimes we are in a mode of exploring, and sometimes we're more focused on our own planet and tending to the cycles of our world. It's a very complex reality that we experience, and also understand that because we don't experience time in the same way that you do, we are also able to move between different spaces and times at will. So it is hard to compare our existence to your own day-to-day existence.
And I believe you don't eat, you don't sleep, right?
Correct.
Yes, and you do have physical bodies, right?
Quasi-physical, as in we can shift between a physical expression and non-physical expressions at will.
And do you live on the planets or on spaceships?
Both.
And how does your planet look like?
We live in concentrated areas, and the natural world is mostly left as is. However, even these concentrated areas are interspersed with nature, and we allow nature to express freely within those places. Our world has 60% water and 5 main continents and many series of islands. However, this is one of the planets of the 2 main planets that we live upon.
And do you
That's enough
build?
for today.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
A great thanks to all of you for co-creating this interaction at this moment of your time. It has been a pleasure. It has been a gift. It has been an expansive opportunity for us to learn and grow, and we hope for you as well. And we look forward to continuing to connect with you in other ways. And see you again next week if you wish.
Awesome,
All right.
Dante. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome, 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 everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here today. Ah. Oh, wait, how do I? Oh, I don't know if you can make me the host again, Carol.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Under the participants.
Participants. Okay.
It
ooh,
was good. There wasn't as many questions today as I was a little bit tired at the end.
it's always a lot, I'm sure, for you. Wait.
Yeah, right?
Replace pen. Let's see. Are you able to be host again? Let me see. Not sure
Yeah,
how
I
to
don't know. They got rid of the claim host. It's okay. It doesn't really matter. But I would encourage everyone to check out DanteStarshine.com for all the information on my channeling sessions and the courses, and to give a donation if you feel called. It's really big support for these videos, questions every week. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the session today. How was it?
Always amazing. Always amazing.
Yay.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to give you back. Oh, wait. Host
Me too.
and collaboration.
Oh, don't worry about it.
For next time, I'll figure it out for next time.
Okay.
Just within my
Yeah, I think we saw some. Yeah, again, thanks for being here, and share the video with those who might be interested, and hope to see you next time. Next week, same time.
Dante, just from the interest, do you have any information about the Pleiades? How does they look like? How does they operate, and so on?
Oh, you'll have to ask next time. We're finished now.
Okay. I'm just curious if there is already some knowledge about the Pleiades society.
Okay. We'll talk about it next week if you like.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye. Adios. Have a great